Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Football United TV. It's the weekend, so it must mean one thing, the Premier League weekend show. Now, it's time for that famous intro. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's show. I've got two guests on the show. Number one, if I get this right, yeah, I got it right. It's him. It's Billy. How you doing, Billy?
Yo. Apologies if my voice squeaks throughout this stream. I'm not 14, I promise. But yeah, there's just been a lot of screaming coming from me today. So yeah, apologies for that. But yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good.
All good. Obviously, that's to do with today's game, but we'll go into that throughout the show. Daniel, everybody, we have Luca. How you doing, Luca?
I'm good, man. It's been a while, and I'm very, very, very good, and I hope everyone's keeping well.
They're keeping well, yeah. Well, Luca, I'm sorry, mate, but you said something to us back show, and I'm going to bring it up just like in a quick, just small. But Luca is a man, he was telling me, that likes getting himself thrown out of football stadiums. What happened?
Well, yeah, at least I have a better bulk than Fabio Vieira, yeah?
Oh, no, definitely. Oh, God. So, Luca, what did actually happen?
Well, basically, I got sent off, so...
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was on about the game you went to on the weekend.
Well, basically what happened was I got kicked out due to stupid EFL rules, Newport County versus Milton Keynes. And I got kicked out just because I wasn't allowed to record. So I missed the last 15 minutes. So it is what it is. Stupid sport, man. Yeah.
It is what it is, Luca. But listen, even though if you may have been kicked out the last 15 minutes, it was like you said, the game was 0-0. You didn't miss anything, did you?
Exactly, it was 0-0, and plus I was watching Arsenal, so it's all right then. So.
Oh well, yeah, that's more important.
Bristol City got a new manager, Liam Manning. So if you want any information about Liam Manning, come and tell me about that. So.
Well, okay, yeah. If you're the man on that, yeah, because he was the manager from Oxford, wasn't it? Because after we
and MK Dons.
Ah, right. So he did. Did he do all right for MK Dons or no?
In his first season, yes, but second season, no.
Oh, God, why me? I tell you what, you just made me feel absolutely down about my own team now. I can't believe that. But anyway, we'll most probably talk about that some other time. Obviously, about my own team on another stream, maybe, or whatever. But yes, we got rid of Nigel Pearson and we replaced him with the Oxford United manager. Cheaper option. Typical Bristol City. You take it from me. Everyone goes for the cheaper option these days. But before we go on to the show, here we go. GalaxioKits.com. This is a company that we are sponsored by. They do a wide range of football kits of today, this season, last season, season before, and going back. They do the retro shirts as well. Because as you know, everybody likes a bit of retro. I'm a bit of I like a bit of retro myself.
I like retro myself, yeah.
But they're good kits, very authentic. The price ranges are good. I'm not going to lie. I've even bought two tops myself. I keep saying this every week, don't I? But I got nothing else to say more on it. So I got two tops myself, and I'm there for Christmas. But the missus has bought them for me. I haven't told her the price of what they both come to yet, but it is what it is. She most probably go mad, but I didn't care. I don't care. Right. Going on to the other one. Let's have a look at this now. Right. Should we Should we do this one first? Come on, let's go on to this one. Billy's Chelsea speech on the Tottenham game and the Man City game. Now, before you start, Bill, I'm just going to come in and just say my little bit. I mean, the game we missed because it wasn't the weekend, it was Monday night's game. Obviously, Tottenham versus Chelsea. What a fantastic game that was. A brilliant win for Chelsea, 4-1, right? Jackson hat-trick. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I've always said there's not many goals scored on the Monday night show. Well, Monday night's football, basically. But how wrong was I? So, Bill, reflect on this game. And then obviously reflect on today's game on the 4-4 draw, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this all day, but I will cut it short for the sake of everyone's mental health.
Well, I think so. We only got a bloody hour. Carol. No,
there we go. So Tottenham, yeah, it was a good performance from us. I feel that we let ourselves down, especially when they went down to 9 men. Udogie should have been sent off earlier anyway with a 2-footed drop kick practically. But he got lucky not to get sent off. We had Romero being Romero and just being a liability, him getting sent off. Jackson scored a hat-trick. I don't know how he managed to score a hat-trick and yet still underperform stats-wise. His XG was something like 3.8 or maybe even 4. So to score 3, he actually did worse than what his expected goals were. But yeah, overall, I feel we played all right. We definitely enjoy playing that high line. It's just I don't think we were quite. I don't think we expected them to still play that high line even after dropping down to 9 men. And transitioning on to that, I cannot believe the Spurs fans talking absolute rubbish about we're so brave. Postecoglou, what a hero. He played a high line with 9 men. Buffoon, absolute clown. It shows that level of mentality at Tottenham Football Club, that they're proud to lose to a rival 4-1, that they're proud to openly admit that they got absolutely smacked. And it is appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And yeah, that's sort of my rant over with it, with the Tottenham game.
Yeah. Did you obviously about today's game as well? Amazing. Well, I tell you what, that game was absolutely entertaining. 4-4. Me and Billy, we were messaging one another, and there was a time at the point where he FaceTimed me on WhatsApp, Billy, and obviously the tears were coming down, and he goes, "It's 4-3. I don't know if I'm gonna do on the show." I said, "Bill, chill, mate, chill. It's a possibility it could be a 4-4 here." And you know what? It was 4-4. It's like what I said, entertaining game for a Sunday evening. Fantastic. I personally, I got to put that game up there. I personally think it's the best game so far this season. But that's my views and my opinion. I tell you what, Bill, you say your bit on today's game, and then I'm going to come to Luca.
Yeah. Well, look, I think Pep has shown again against Chelsea that I don't know what it is. He always seems to like bottle it, and I'm walking away with my head held high. A 4-4 draw against a treble winning side from last season. That's a tough game, and it's not like they had Rodri out who scored tonight. Yes, it was a lucky deflection that I wanted to smash my head through my TV when that went in, but we carry on. Overall, yeah, I think we played fantastically well. I think City's biggest mistake was they allowed us to play the style that we wanted to play. It seemed very much that Chelsea wanted to dictate how the game was played, how fast-paced it wanted to be. When Chelsea wanted to slow it down, it slowed down. And I don't think City really got that they wanted to play how they wanted to play. The first goal was a penalty. Look, I think it's one of those 50-50s. Haaland was creating a foul against Cucurella by dragging him back. Cucurella drags back again. Either way, it doesn't matter because he doesn't even get the header or anything anyway because Thiago Silva clears it. So it's one of those 50-50 on them. But other than that, yeah, really happy with Chelsea today.
Really happy. There was there was a few things going on in that game. Obviously, it went to VAR. They showed a replay of what, let's say, for instance, Haaland's goal. I think it was the third goal that went in. I think the ball sort of under his arm or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your opinion and views on that? Did you obviously think it was handball, and should it have been allowed, or what? What's your views on this?
I think it was ludicrous to even think about. Like, the ball was going in and Haaland was behind it. If it was a handball, it would have stopped the ball going in. So to even look at it, in my opinion, is just absolutely. I think the VAR, the people up sitting in their box, they just want it to be about them. They don't care about the game. They don't care about that. They want it to be about them. They make the decisions. They want to do this. They want to do that. And it's stupid. Scrap the whole thing. Go back to a ref. Because at least that way, when decisions are wrong, we can go, well, the ref ain't got help. Like, he's just calling it how he sees it. And it's one of those. But when you slow it down and you've got video analysis and you still get it wrong, that's when there's the serious issue. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think to be honest with you, with VAR, I mean, I hear people don't want it. I'm not keen on it. I don't want it. I want it thrown out. But then on the other hand, I hear people saying, well, VAR is good and we need it in the game, but it's the people that is doing the VAR. They're the ones that's getting the decision wrong. So, you know, that's another way of looking at it. But this is the one thing I've been told anyway, and I've seen people talk about it on streams as well. I've actually been on the streams when the people have actually said it, but you know, it's each to their own. Luca, today's game, Chelsea versus Man City, 4-4. Your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, for me, right. Look, I think for me, it's got to be the game of the season, because that game, Chelsea Man City, got me out of my seat. It got me out of my driving seat, thinking, right, goals left, right, centre, and that. And I think the performance in general, despite Chelsea winning 4-1 against Tottenham, which I was very amazed, Chelsea went to White Hart Lane and scored 4 goals, where in the first half against Tottenham, they weren't that great, but they managed to end up being clinical. It was one of those games where it wasn't the greatest performance, but they actually got the 4 goals. But the Man City game today, I'm telling you what, that is a statement to get a point against Man City. Okay, yes, when Chelsea were 2-1 up against Man City, I was thinking Chelsea played very well. There was some good fluent football, the players, and I feel like, yes, Man City, for me, with that handball situation, I do think the goal should have stood, in my opinion. People might totally disagree with me, and people might think in what game I'm watching. But for me, I think that goal should have stood. And when Man City went 3-2 up, I was thinking the game was done. I generally thought typical Chelsea, bit like the Arsenal game where Chelsea dominated against us a few weeks ago, beat us, drew 2-2, sorry, we're winning 2-0, and then suddenly they throwed it away again. But what I really liked about Chelsea today was, coming from an Arsenal supporter, is they never gave up. And when you look at Chelsea, okay, yes, they're still in a bit of a mess. They're still conceding goals. But games like today, games like Tottenham, they're showing good signs that they're slowly in a bit of a process. Because do you feel Chelsea, because there's rumours going around that Chelsea fans, the fan base are saying they're in a 4-year process. It could be in a 4-year process. We don't know. But I think today that was one of Chelsea's best performances, and that was the game of the season. Yes, if I was a Chelsea fan, right, I'd take a point. I would have took a point. And if Arsenal played how the game was today against Man City, and that was 4-4, a point against Man City. Yeah. Yes, if you're 2-1 up, you might get some Chelsea fans saying, oh, we were 2-1 up, we threw it away, but at the end of the day, we grabbed a point. And that's something where they played very well. And I thought Chelsea's best player today was Cole Palmer. I think he was quality today. I think this guy is going to become a very good talent. He's played against us twice, and he's scored against us twice. And he's quality. And one thing I don't understand in that game was how Pep Guardiola, for me, I thought the substitutions were a bit like you're giving that penalty away in the last minute. And I'm thinking, why they're not game managing the game 4-3? But to concede 4 against Chelsea, it's not good for the sign of champions. And this is why the Premier League is the best league in the world when you see games like that. Because you've got about 4, 5, 6 teams. Even Aston Villa. Can you really call Aston Villa title contenders? Because Villa are already a few points behind us.
Yeah, no, this is true. Yeah, I'm looking at. We'll talk about the Premier League table as well. Things like that. It looks so really, really close, but that's enough of that one. But yeah, I mean, you got to look at it. Even though like what Poch has done with Chelsea and the way they are, like where they are in the league at the minute. You look at the top 4 teams that they played against. I mean, they drew against Man City. They drew against us, right? They beat Tottenham, right? And
they drew 1-1 with Liverpool.
And drew 1-1 with Liverpool. That was a certain brain freeze there. Thank you, Billy. But yeah, I mean, what's your opinions on that, Bill? Do you like? Obviously, you it seems like at the minute, no matter where you are positioned in the league, you sort of can compete with these top 4 teams.
Yeah, I mean, casting my mind back to the Liverpool game to start off with, I think that we did very well in that game and actually seemed to control it. And I felt personally that we could have got the win. Same at the Arsenal, we let ourselves down, and same tonight. Like I think we've done exceptionally well, and I will take a point against the treble winning side. But realistically, there was nothing stopping us from going and getting those 3 points at home. So I think Chelsea's biggest downfall is the low block that some of these lower teams seems to be playing. When you've got the likes of Brentford playing it, we get smacked up 2-0 at home. When you see West Ham potentially playing it, we get smacked up 3-1. Tottenham playing a high line, they get caught out. Arsenal seem to be attacking very much. We go and counter. And we love doing this. Chelsea absolutely love it because we soak up all this pressure. I think it seems to me that Poch seems to be playing very differently than what he was at Spurs, which I thought wasn't going to be the case. I thought he was going to come in with the same 4-2-3-1 sort of style, have an attacking midfielder on the right who cuts in. We're seeing it with Cole Palmer. But sort of defense in a defensive transition, we're sort of playing almost a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2. Like we're sitting back quite deep, compact, soaking up all this pressure. And then bang, we got Sterling down the left, Palmer, Jackson, Broja came on. He looked quite good. And then I think a lot of the top teams enjoy this high pressing, high attacking football. But I just think it works so well in Chelsea's favour.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I know, obviously, you were excited about this game today. Obviously, the result, I feel, it's like we touched on it. Like I said, it is game of the season. Even Lucas said it's game of the season. I mean, it must have been that great, Billy, for you to write the scoreline behind you. Chelsea 4, Man City 4. So, that's enough said really on that one. But yeah, I really enjoyed that game. And to me, game of the season. Right, let's go swiftly moving on now. Right. Wolves 2, Tottenham 1. Are Wolves playing well? Because you think of it, within the last couple of minutes, seriously, in the last couple of weeks, you think they beat Tottenham and they beat Man City as well. So, and I think their star player was out. Well, one of their star players was out injured, Pablo Neto. Obviously he wasn't playing. He's not due back until the end of November. I mean, you look at this one here. I mean, this Tottenham, Wolves and Tottenham game. I mean, Tottenham going 1-0 up in something like, it was like in 2 or 3 minutes of the game.
Well, for me, I look at it right. Like, I watched some parts of the game because I was on my way to Wales yesterday, and Tottenham were 1-0 up. And I kept looking at the score and I was thinking, nah, they're going to win this now. It's typical Spurs, going to get back on track after having a bit of a blip. And then they end up going concede 2 goals straight away. And I'm thinking, mate, how can they go and pretty much dominate a 1-0 win and then end up going to a 2-1 loss. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
right, this is typical Tottenham.
Two
Like,
goals
all
in
these
6 minutes.
Yeah. And all these Tottenham fans, right, a couple of weeks ago, all on the football terrace, left, right, centre, moaning left, right, centre, we're going to win the league, right? We're going to win the league, right? Well, for me, they are pretenders of title contenders. And that Chelsea game against Tottenham, when Chelsea beat Tottenham, right, I said after the game, right, as an Arsenal fan, I said Chelsea always have Tottenham's number when it matters. When Tottenham are challenging for something, right, even like when Leicester won the league, Chelsea have their number. They have an affection against Tottenham. This is why Chelsea have a good record against Tottenham. Okay? They have a great record over the years against Tottenham. And this is why Tottenham fans, giving it all that, think they're going to win the league. They did this with Conte last season, right? He got sacked. Conte is finished as a manager, right? But they are not going to win the league. But what I will give them credit is they've probably got one of the best managers since they got to the Champions League final and lost to Liverpool. I think this manager coming in, yes, I doubted him. Everyone else must have doubted him as well. I'm thinking, who's this bloke from Celtic? Who's this guy from Celtic? Winning the Scottish League. And look what happened. Yes, they've had a good start to the season. Yes, they got a good point against Arsenal. They beat Manchester United. They beat Liverpool. Chelsea beat them and stopped the record. But they're not going to win the league because they are Tottenham. It is the history of the Tottenham Hotspur. And that's the thing. They are Spurs. It is true, guys. It is true.
Yeah.
They're already out of one cup. Okay, we're out of one cup. But they'll never ever be bigger than Chelsea and Arsenal. Okay? Arsenal and Chelsea are going to always be bigger than Tottenham. And they can keep going on saying, oh, it's only one game. They're at Man City drew today. They're only one point behind, 2 points behind. Yeah, they're not out of the race yet, but they're not going to win the league. They've got Aston Villa. Unai Emery's Aston Villa next. Right, and they're doing very well. They're 5th or 6th in the league. Mate, that'd be a tough game for Tottenham. Especially at Villa Park.
Yeah.
That is a tough game. And Tottenham are now lost. We found out the news yet on Friday night. Maddison is now out for 1 to 3 months. This guy is always injury prone for Tottenham.
Yeah.
He is always injury prone. And Maddison, for me, is now off injured, right? They've got a couple of suspensions. Van der Veen is out, right? So they don't look the same without James Maddison. If Son gets injured, they are done for this season. They are finished. And if any Tottenham fans are listening to this in this show, or whatever, how many people are viewing this, behave Tottenham fans. You're not going to win the league this season coming from an Arsenal supporter watching this. Because I do think they will get top 4.
Yeah.
I do think they have moved and done very well in the summer. But I think what's going to let them down, because look, if Tottenham would have beaten Chelsea, they would have been top of the league, maybe, because of Man City's draw, right, against Chelsea. But if Tottenham would have beaten Chelsea, I want to ask a question to you guys, right? If Tottenham would have beaten Chelsea, would people have still said, you know what, they're actually serious, they're actually title contenders, even if they would have beaten Chelsea and Wolves?
Well, to be honest with you, Luca, they could have been, because you think of it, their new manager has come in and he's done remarkable. But if you go back to the first game of the season, right up until now, the teams that Tottenham has played, you expect Tottenham to beat these teams, which they have done. I mean, admittedly, they've lost to their first game. They lost to. I know what you're saying. They give it the big one. When we lost to Newcastle last week, right? They lost that weekend as well, didn't they? On the Monday night against Chelsea, right? So that was 2 North London teams that was undefeated and both got defeated the same weekend. Both lost their games. Now this one, the Wolves game as well. I personally think you're going to see Tottenham in a bit of a spiral. And that spiral is just gradually just going down. The only reason being, because you touched on it with Maddison, right? Let's not forget that game against Chelsea. They had 2 of their best defenders sent off. They're banned for 3 games. So they're out for 3 games,
100%.
Miro and Doggy, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Doggy's. I think he's out for one game because he got 2 yellows.
Oh, it's 2 years. Oh, right. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So they're missing. So he was out of this game then. So he's back the next one. So this is what I'm saying. So they've got an injury problem there with Maddison. Obviously because that's to me that's a certain percent. That's a good player taken away from the spine of the team. Because Maddison obviously likes to play in the middle, doesn't he? So that is a big percentage taken out of the spine of that Tottenham team, which obviously I don't know they're going to have there, whether they're going to put Son there, in there, and then Richarlison up front. But obviously, as we know, Richarlison's got, let's be honest, he's absolutely, he is litter, he is rubbish, Richarlison. So I feel like what I said, they're going to be on a bit of a spiral now going down. But I'm going to go to Billy now on this one. Billy, what's your thoughts on this game, mate?
I think Wolves are very fortunate to have faced a Man City side without Rodri, and to face a very heavily defeated Tottenham side that have, like you said, Udogie missing, Romero missing, Van der Ven missing, Maddison missing. That's a lot of players to be missing out. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham were playing with Ben Davies and Dyer at centre back. That is awful. Then you've got Emerson Royal on the left as well. Like, that is a dreadful starting lineup. So I think instead of Wolves playing well, I think Wolves need to count their blessings. I think that their luck's going to run out and they're going to face teams again that are going to have fully fit squads with their best 11. But I don't want to take any credit away from Wolves either. Like Luke said, it was 1-0 Tottenham. So for Wolves to still have that spirit and come back, I definitely think it helped knowing that they were coming up against Eric Dyer and Emerson Royal at the back. I definitely think that probably made their attackers feel a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall credit to Wolves, but they definitely need to count their blessings.
Well, they do, yeah. I mean, obviously, after one of their best players leaving this season, going to Saudi, I think Ruben Neves, the DM, he's a good player. I would have loved him at my club, at Arsenal, to be honest with you, going back, last season, the season before, I wanted him, but obviously it wasn't to be. But yeah, I mean, these teams are really doing really well when their star players leave and they don't really get anybody in to replace them. But listen, as you're working as a team, they gel as a team, Wolves. They've got the chemistry there, and it just seems like a bit of a good team spirit, if you like. But that's that. Going back on that game, let's go to the next game. Next game, Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3. Now, in all fairness, I watched this game and I thought this was a good game. It was a real good weekend of football this weekend, in my opinion. High scoring games as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you look at it. I mean, Everton. I mean, they're coming up and scoring in the first minute of the game. And then Crystal Palace having a penalty. So it was like 1-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game. So it was really touch and go on this one. Unfortunately, I mean, it didn't work out for Crystal Palace, obviously, with them being home and having an advantage. But listen, Sellers Park is not an easy place to go to. And take it from an Arsenal fan. Seriously, take it from an Arsenal fan. It's not an easy place to go to. But I tell you what, that's enough about me. Luca, you're dying to say something. I know. What's your opinions, mate?
Yeah, because the thing is, look, I didn't watch the game, but I didn't watch this game. Sorry, but what I will say is today, I think I looked at Everton's last 4 results. In all competition, they've won 3 and drawn 1. Right?
Yeah.
And Everton, of course, are now in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. The thing is, they're starting to pick on a bit of a good form, and they've got Manchester United next after international break at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
And on paper, you probably expect Man United to win, but you don't know, because Everton, they go on this bit of a good form, and I think international break has come at the wrong time for them. I really do, because generally they've actually been on good form, and Palace is a difficult game as well. It's an always difficult place to go. It's one of those games where, do we have to play this team away from home? But Arsenal, of course, recently have done okay against Crystal Palace. And I know over the years, Arsenal used to always struggle at Palace, but they're actually doing okay now. And I remember the Palace game at the start of the season, near the beginning of the start of the season, a few games into the season. And Tommy Asu with the whole penalty situation and stuff like that. I remember we got away with it and we got the penalty from Martin Odegaard. But I think Everton are doing all right. I genuinely do, because I think that people are saying, and this is where people always give, is this going to be the season where Everton are going to go down? Never say a big team's going to get is to go down, because I always feel like when people say Everton are going to stay up or not, go down.
Yeah.
I always feel like they're going to stay because they've got experience. They've got England's number one goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. They've got experienced players in the team. They even got Onana, right? They've even got Onana. They've got Pickford. They've got the likes of Coleman, Ashley Young. They've got experienced players that have played in the game for such a long time. And this is why when you're fighting for survival, you need that sort of kind of like texture. You need that kind of like swagger with that kind of experience to actually keep you up. And I think getting back to Crystal Palace, I don't think they're not all that this season. Like, what is Crystal Palace's aim? To be honest, what is actually their aim for a football club? Because they're always, like, people talk about, are they going to be fighting for relegation? They're always a mid-table team. They're always going to be a high possible mid-table, trying to aim for top 10. But they can't get into Europe. What's Palace's achievement? Do they want to get Conference League? They ain't got a squad to have Conference League. Like, would you take any Palace players to Arsenal? The only player who I would take, right, is maybe Elise, but he signed a 4-year deal. Guy, maybe, as a backup to Gabriel William Saliba. That's about it. There's not really anyone else who I would take.
No. I mean, it's like what I said. To be honest with you, Palace is one of those. I mean, you look at that team, the team that they've got, and the players, and how Roy is sorting them out at the minute. But as we know, I mean, Roy he's not getting much younger. He's getting older now. So I don't know if this is going to be his last season as manager of Crystal Palace. A lot of people might say it is. A lot of people might say it's not. But then you think of it, no matter what manager, if he retires, and no matter what new manager has come in, Roy Hodgson, he's set out the foundations of that team. So the next manager to come in, he's got to correspond with the team, get on with the players, and try and rotate that same system, and obviously attract new players in. They're not big spenders, we know, Crystal Palace. But it's like what we always said, Sellers Park is never an easy place to go to. And it is always hard. And it's been hard for us, as Arsenal fans. I think it's safe to say that Crystal Palace might be Arsenal's bogey team. They can be, because they're always playing well. But time's quickly moving on. Billy, your thoughts on this game, mate?
Keep it short and sweet. Everton, fair play. Palace, you're trash. The fact that I just can't believe, you two have obviously spoken about it, about Sellers Park. Are we looking at a difference now in Palace? Are we going to see them potentially decline back into a relegation battle side rather than just that consistent mid-table side? Do you think they're going to start dropping even more now? If they're picking up losses to the likes of Everton, Sheffield United might turn up and beat them. And if that happens, what's the difference between them and any other relegation fight?
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's like knowing that when they were managed by a different manager last time, Patrick Vieira, our star midfielder at the Arsenal. I mean, in all fairness, in his first season, he didn't do that bad, but he was trying to take him. I think he was trying to take him, obviously, to greater heights, but he only had bare minimum and money to spend on players. They didn't splash out big. I mean, what's Palace's dearest player? I mean, I think you're talking in the region of something like 20 million, something like that.
I think it might be like 20 million.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, they're not being funny. That's championship prices. But then, you know, I mean, I'm not slating Crystal Palace. I think they've done well. There is one player I do like, who I feel is good. Is one of their the young guy they play defense on the wing back, Mitchell. I think he's a good prosperous player for, you know, for the future. But the likes of that, some top team are going to come in and snap him up, and they get him, and then Palace got to go back to that drawing board again to bloody bring in a new player, a younger player like the same age, to, you know, to do a job for him. But, you know, that's enough about this now. Let's quickly go straight onto the comments. We got Long Haired Yeti. Big up Long Haired Yeti. Welcome to the show, mate. He's saying big up everyone. And he goes on to say, totally agree, Billy. Obviously what you were saying about Chelsea.
I know ball, mate.
On the ball, yeah. And strikers are they got a score. And Carl Rossi, smash them likes. Cheers, Cole. Thanks for tuning in, mate. He goes on to see evening, Anthony. Yeah, evening, mate. And then Anfield Uncle Rods, he says big up Matt. There's not a Matt.
How are you?
There's not a Matt on the show. Oh, there's Matt's at home. Matt's at home. He's just watching, lurking around in the background as always. But yeah, big up to you, Uncle Rods. Big up to you, and thanks for tuning in. And also AFC always, big up, mate. And he says big up the panel. I think there's a few more. There's a few more. Yeah, King TV's in. He's saying big up all. I'm ahead of myself on here. And then he goes up. AFC always sees, what's that? 29 has played 18 games in all competition and scored 1 goal. Safe for Arsenal Football Club ever again. He is trash. Yes, I know who we're talking about. Who he's talking about?
Yeah.
Eddie Waffles in the house. Big up, Eddie. Hope you're doing well, mate. And he's saying big up, guys. Dropping a like. Fantastic. Yeah. If you all haven't clicked like, and maybe most of you in the chat, you may have subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe that. Please press that subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell. So obviously when we do a show, you know, it'll automatically come up on your phone, and you can do it there. Okay. Billy talks ball. He says, cheers for the 65 million. All right, Bill.
Wow.
Hang on, how many have you got? You're under Bill Smith. Billy talks ball.
So
You got what?
I've got 2 accounts. I've got my account, like my private account, which I do like watch. I watch my YouTube on, and then I've got my Billy Talks Ball account, which is all football. Like the subscriptions on my Billy Talks Ball account is like Sky Sports and all the football teams and stuff.
Yeah. Well, don't take it to art, Bill. You've actually got that right. Billy Talks Ball. That's bullshit. Yeah. But you're a Chelsea fan.
Andy, what was bullshit? What you gave us 65 million.
I know that's bullshit. I know. All right. Don't keep on about that. Luca might get upset. He's a Kai Havertz fan.
No, I'm not a Kai Havertz fan. How do you know I'm a Kai Havertz fan?
Oh God, no! Absolutely dog shit, litter, in my opinion. I can't stand him. Right, let's go on to the next one. Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 0. This is shocking. Absolutely shocking. I tell you what, we didn't do it at the start, Bill, but we'll do it towards the end because our predictions we did last week. Blimey, we both had Newcastle for a win. Anybody, either a Newcastle fan would have had themselves down as a win. You know, I don't know if you're in the chat, but big up Geordie if you come on and you start watching the show. But I'll tell you what, I was absolutely shocked at this result. Literally shocked. Newcastle, for me, they didn't turn up.
For me, right. How do we not beat these lot, Newcastle? Because we got robbed. We got robbed, and that's the thing. Because Newcastle go and beat Arsenal, right? And look, Arsenal didn't play well in general. We can't just only blame VAR. It's the performance from last Saturday. And then look, we've put that in the past. Now it's done. They beat us, fair enough. But that VAR shouldn't have stood. It shouldn't have stood, because how can they go and lose to Borussia Dortmund? Because don't get me wrong, yes, it is a difficult place to go to. Dortmund's always a hostile ground. It's difficult. It's good atmosphere in Germany. But how can they just gone from beating us over just only a VAR robbed and then go and lose back to back? I know it happens in football. It can happen. But I just feel, look, Newcastle are a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're going in the right direction. But I just feel Champions League's actually really affected them this season. Like with Arsenal, we always used to talk about playing Monday, Thursday, Sunday. And now Arsenal are probably going to qualify, win the group against when we beat Lens in a couple of weeks' time after the international break. But yeah. I just feel Newcastle, there's something about where, yes, they're missing a lot of players. Like Isaac's injured, Botman's injured. They don't seem to be the same team without Isaac and Botman in the team, because Newcastle, when we played them last season at the Emirates and we drew that game 0-0,
yeah,
they were very difficult to break down in defence, because Newcastle had one of the best defensive records of last season, and they were very difficult to break down. And look, they are a good team, but I just feel injuries is really affecting them. I just feel like Champions League actually has an effect on them this season.
But I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying, Luca. But I mean, you touch back on last season when they broke us down. You know, their defense was so strong, solid, we couldn't pass them. I think you got to see the same in last week. Seriously, because me and Bill was chatting about on last week's show, and I felt that we were absolutely awful. Going back from the goalkeeper, every single player on that pitch for Arsenal last week against Newcastle was literally awful.
Have you two? Sorry, I just want to jump in. You speak. I've heard you say goalkeeper. Rams. There's been leaks or rumours about him actually wanting to leave due to lack of game time. If Arteta fumbles the bag and chooses Raya over Ramsdale, that's probably going to be one of the nails in his coffin at Arsenal Football Club. Surely
it is, because
it will be. It will be. I've said it on streams as well, and I have said it. I'm not being. I know we saw Ramsdale against West Ham when we lost 3-1 in the Carabao Cup, but listen, that Raya. I don't like the way how he plays, even if it's Mikel Arteta telling him to play from the back. He's been caught out a few times, and
even yesterday against Burnley, even yesterday, that he should have even done better on that goal.
Yeah,
I reckon. Yes, it came off a deflection. Sometimes keepers find it difficult where the ball's going into whatever position it was going into the back of the net. But I looked at the game yesterday and I watched it once back, and I felt why I should have done better. And I know obviously we're talking about Bournemouth, Newcastle, and we'll come to Arsenal in a second. But why are people believing, right? And our fan base are believing that Raya should be over Ramsdale. No, people are forgetting Ramsdale almost won us the league. Okay, last season we kind of switched off, and it just wasn't Ramsdale's fault. It was obviously because of the injuries, because of William Saliba injured.
Yes.
The key players were out. We had to deal with Rob Holding throughout the season, and he's not that great, and he's gone now. But you have to keep Ramsdale, because this kind of reminds me, if you go back 3 or 4 years ago during lockdown, we never wanted to get rid of Martinez. And Martinez is one of the best keepers in the world right now, right?
Yeah.
One of the best keepers, not the best keeper in the world, but one of the best keepers in the world. And at the time, I was thinking, we've got Leno as a keeper. Who have we got as a backup? And then Ramsdale was signed. We all had that little criticism. Was he even good enough? And look at him now. And I love Aaron Ramsdale. And I think he should be the number one goalkeeper, because Jamie Carragher said it, right, against Newcastle. He said, Raya, there was 2 players. I can't remember the second player was. But David Raya was one of them he mentioned. He felt like if Arteta is going to continue gradually to sell Aaron Ramsdale, because Chelsea are looking at him, Chelsea will take Aaron Ramsdale all day long.
Yeah, I've read it. It's in the region of 50 million.
Where Chelsea are now, right? They would take Aaron Ramsdale. He might actually get them top 6 this season if Chelsea go and buy him in January. I think Ramsdale, for me, will stay to the end of the season. Yeah. He will stay to the end of the season. Because I was at the Seville game on Wednesday night with Miss Molina, right? And I could tell by Aaron Ramsdale was not happy, right? He was not happy on Wednesday night, okay? He was clearly not happy because he's thinking in his mind, what have I done to not actually be dropped? What have I done this and that? I'm the better keeper. I was 2 games away of winning the league last year. But it will be the biggest mistake in Mikel Arteta. And people are going to start turning on him, right? If Ramsdale gets sold for David Raya. That's the problem. If Ramsdale goes, and I say this on the final note before someone does come in and say, if Ramsdale goes, I wouldn't mind if he goes as long as we get a world-class keeper in. You can't just bring him, you cannot sell him and then just say, oh, we're not interested in a keeper, or let's keep Ramsdale to the end of the season, we'll go and get a keeper. Is there better keepers out there than Aaron Ramsdale? Yeah, there is. Of course there is. But if Ramsdale gets sold, right, who is there to come in the replacement? Arsenal ain't going to go all out and go and sign the Real Madrid goalkeepers, the Bayern Munich keepers. They're not actually going to end up getting these flipping replacements, aren't they?
Yeah. No, it's true. It's absolutely true, yeah. But it's like what I said, if it's going to be a problem within that's the only one that's going to be the problem. I mean, everybody's looking around, Arsenal, with Arsenal as well, saying, oh, we need a striker. Oh, we need a backup for Saka, in case Saka gets injured and rotate, because he is being knackered out and all this and that. And then people are saying we need a centre-back. Then another problem is going to occur up to, with a goalkeeper as well. But Luca, we know all about Arsenal. We're gonna keep this, but we're talking because we got the game coming up against Burnley. Bill, can I quickly have your thoughts on this game, mate?
I think everyone feels the exact same. Complete shock. I don't know if Bournemouth's ground is quite intimidating. I don't think so personally. I think Luca hit the nail on the head when he did say about Newcastle struggling with Champions League football. I predicted them to finish outside the top 6 this season. They've overachieved in what I thought they were going to anyway. I just don't see their squad depth to last out cup games, Champions League games, and the Premier League at the same time. I think that would be too much, especially when, we've seen it. Tonali is very unfortunate with a 10-month ban. That's just a kick in the balls, if I'm honest. But if you're looking at Isak injured, okay, who's their backup? Wilson. Yeah, he's good, but are you seriously going to be happy with him when you should have Isak? Then you got Botman. I mean, since he came into the Premier League, he's been incredible. But yeah, I think Newcastle needs to go back to the drawing board and seriously think about whether they want to be challenging at such a high level. Is a great achievement, but yeah. I think they may have done it just a bit too soon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel that, with the Champions League, I thought they were going to dip out of the Champions League and then go, obviously dip down into the Europa and then start playing Thursday. I mean, I think within the group, the way that group's looking, I mean, I don't quote me on it, but it's still a possibility that can happen. But it just seems like they've got players there, but they just don't have the depth. I mean, that's what it sounds like, what we're all seeing on this show tonight. So, whether they're going to get players when the January window opens, I don't know. But that's all we'd sell. Right. Next game. Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1. Do you know what? This scoreline didn't surprise me. I think I actually may have got this one right. But I mean, I mean, you look at it. I mean, I think Villa went 1-0 up. A Robertson in goal from Fulham. Now, if anybody's here, maybe you can quote me wrong and all this and that. Apparently, I've been told that's the second own goal he scored within 4 games. I think the last 4 games, maybe 5 games. I don't know, but
Yeah,
apparently it is something like that. But I mean, Luca touched on it with Leno being in goal. I mean,
Of course.
he's not he ain't the greatest. He's not the worst. But I mean, this scoreline, it didn't surprise me one bit. I thought, obviously Villa coming back on last week's defeat. Now I tell you what, if Long Hair Yeti is still in here and he's still watching this, I mean, fair play to him. Nottingham Forest beating Aston Villa 2-0 last week. That was something out the bag I didn't expect at all, But I mean, Villa are one of those teams that they win games and then they lose. They lose quite unexpected, and then they come back and they bounce back the week after. I mean, next week I'm not too sure they got not next week is international break, but the week after the internationals is finished. I mean, it might be an hard game for them. I don't know, but I mean, he's one of those that really goes backwards and forwards for me with this Aston Villa team. Luca, what's your thoughts, mate?
For me, this game in general, I watched the highlights and I think Villa had a very good, comfortable performance. And I was very surprised that Villa kind of got 3 goals. And Fulham are not having the greatest season because they've lost Mitrovic, and Mitrovic is killing it where he is right now. So I generally think Villa overall, yes, I think they're having an all right season. Unai Emery has actually got them very well. Emery's managed to go to a Premier League club where he's actually managed to suit well. When he was at Arsenal, okay, it didn't work well. He almost won us a European trophy. But of course we didn't. We got slapped. But in general, Emery, I see that laugh when you beat us in Baku 4 or 5 years ago.
Greatest day of my life.
Yeah, but what happened to Chelsea now, man? Things have changed now. So
that haven't. We're still European title holders, not continuously.
Yeah, but you're sitting in mid-table, my friend.
Mate, mid-table, but I mean, 80 minutes of the 90, we were all over Arsenal.
Yeah. But Arsenal haven't lost at Stamford Bridge since 2018, and Arsenal haven't lost to Chelsea for 2 years. Arsenal will continue. But we see at the Emirates when we play you. But
mate, I cannot wait. I
think the Emirates, it will be a long story for Chelsea. But let's see, man.
I think our first game was it. It was at the Emirates, wasn't it?
No, Stamford Bridge 2-2.
Oh, it's Stamford Bridge.
We let that £100 million player score against us, and he didn't mean to actually come out. He come out in the middle and said it. He didn't even actually mean to take that shot, but he's happy. He's not complaining. He got a goal out of it, so
yeah,
it's money worth. So, but getting back to the Aston Villa game, I think that Emery's doing very well, and I'm very surprised. I'm not surprised, but the way he's actually. The way he sets out Villa, the way he's actually tactical, the way he's actually has a style of play. Why could he not do this at Arsenal? Emery got sacked because he wasn't getting football results at Arsenal. He fell out with the dressing room. He didn't suit the style of play, right? And we were going through a mess. We had the likes of Mustafi's and that back then, right? But now we're a different team compared to 4 years ago. But I feel Emery can win the Conference League for Aston Villa. They've managed to keep Ollie Watkins, right? They're starting to act like a top 6 team, right? Like the old days when they had Martin O'Neill. I remember Villa were beating teams like Arsenal. I remember Gabby Abongahor did that run against Arsenal. I remember the 4-4 against Chelsea when Ballack scored in that game. Villa were good. I remember Villa's players back then. They had Ashley Young, Prime. They had Abongahor. They had Petrov. They had all these players. They had Richard Dunn, Brad Friedel. They had all these good players back then. But they've still got Ollie Watkins. They've still got I forgot the guy's defender's name from Seville. What's the guy defender from Seville's name? Is it
Carlos or Torres?
Carlos? They've got McGinn. They've got Matty Cash. They've got Mark. They've got very good players. I don't think they'll get top 4 because I feel like they were a bit short. But I think they can get Europa League. I really do. I feel like Emery's actually doing well. But what I don't understand is, Anthony, why is Emery doing well now? Do you feel, before we actually appointed Mikel Arteta, do you feel if Emery was still at Arsenal right now, would Arsenal be in this position where we are now?
No, I think, to be honest with you, I think if Emery was the manager last season, we would have won the Premier League.
You reckon we would have won the league?
Yeah, I reckon we would have won the league. If Unai Emery was still in charge, that is now, he would have won us the Premier League last season. That's a fact. That's a fact. But you look at the players that Unai Emery had to work with. I mean, for part of the time, we were playing Cole Jenkinson at right back. Yeah. He was in the final. He played in the final.
Mate, when I saw Hazard come up again
in the centre, he was the one that he was the guy that bought in Kieran Tierney. He was the guy that bought in Saliba. You know, there were a couple of Mikel Arteta's players that sorry, not Mikel Arteta's, Unai Emery players that still that plays for us now. You know, so Saliba's one of them. All right, Kieran Tierney, he's on the book, but he's gone out on loan. So you know he's technically still an Arsenal player, but he's just gone out on loan to Real Sociedad, and I can't think of who else now. There's.
Which one's that?
I think we still got one of Arsene Wenger players there. Elneny. Yeah, he's Arsene Wenger's player. Yeah.
The only players we've got under Arsene Wenger is Elneny and Eddie Nketiah, isn't it?
No, I don't think Eddie Nketiah. No.
Nketiah would have been like 12.
So Eddie Nketiah was a bit younger.
No, Eddie Nketiah made his debut in Wenger's last season. Remember, 17 season.
Yeah. Oh, Martinelli. He was Unai Emery's boy, Martinelli.
Yeah, Unai Emery's was Martinelli.
Yeah.
Saliba. Yes, Saliba. Tierney.
Yeah.
Cedric was Arteta's.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much. I think that was pretty much it.
That's it, because we saw.
But you look at the quality of what that is. I mean, we just said there could be more players, but I mean those 3 players that we've actually mentioned, 2 of them are playing well now for Arteta. One of them's our star centre back, and the other one is our star striker up front.
Yeah, Martinelli. That game the other night against Seville, he was absolute. I was at the game, right? I sat in club level, right, and Melina and I went to the game, and when she was in the UK. And for me, Martinelli was fantastic in that game. It felt like he was on the beach in Brazil, chilling, getting a football on the pitch in a 30, 40 degree heat in Brazil. Mate, Martinelli for me was legit. He was world class on that day. And this is why he is a fantastic player. On his day, he is world class.
Yeah.
He can rip anyone's defence. And that game against Seville, he felt like, you know what? I'm just going to show these lot.
Yeah. I mean, I might be wrong. I think Martinelli, what was he? I think he was a £6 million boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's spot on. That's £6 million. That's how much it was. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And this is why Arsenal, for the look, a lot of people, people know my opinions about Edu, but sometimes he gets it right. And Martinelli, that is a great £6 million business, and he's going to go on to a world-class player. He reminds me of an Alexis Sanchez, but even better, even way better.
I'm going to jump in here and put my 50 pence in a sec. I agree and disagree at the exact same time, right? The only issue with Martinelli is I don't feel that he looks up enough. And I feel like genuinely, if he learned how to cross a ball properly, he would probably be the most lethal winger in the world.
Right, yeah.
He's got the dribbling capabilities to beat a man. He's got the pace to beat a man easily. I just feel like he just doesn't look up
Yeah,
enough.
I
Whereas
did. Yeah,
I felt like Sanchez. I feel like Sanchez was the whole package. He was quick. He did have a bit of physicality. He could dribble with the ball. He could score. He could assist. I feel like, but I definitely do agree that Martinelli definitely has the capabilities for that. I just think that the only thing holding him back is just looking up.
Yeah, that's right.
that is true because there was a couple of times against Seville that he kept crossing the ball and a lot of wasteful chances.
No. Well, Bill, have you given your thoughts on this game?
Not really, but I don't need to give one. Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1 is what everyone expected.
It's what everyone expected. All right, mate. Yeah, that's sound. Now going on to the next game now. There is a few games in here what we've got to talk through. We've got been an hour. So right, Liverpool 3, Brentford now. Do you know what? This was another game. One a bad game. Do you know what? I can't even remember who scored in it. I mean, Salah got one of them, didn't he? He scored one. He got two. Jota, that's it. Now, I tell you what, this was another high-scoring game, 3-0. Another good game we picked out here to discuss on the weekend on the show. I feel Liverpool. I mean, blimey. What are they now? Second. All right. Admittedly, they're on the same points as Arsenal now in the league. They got a better goal difference. I think it's only something stupid by 2 or 3 goals, isn't it, Luca? If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think it is I think it's only by 2 or 3 goals. I could be wrong, but it's like what I said. Liverpool now. I mean, you look at this. I mean, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham. It's in this, and then you look.
It's by one goal.
Oh, it's by one goal. All right, so that's not too bad. But I mean, if I'm not mistaken, somebody can quote me wrong. I think Liverpool's next game is it Man City.
Correct. 12:30 kickoff.
There we go. So that is going to be an hard game. So that is, in all fairness, Luca, we don't want to win. We don't want no one to win.
No, we want
a good solid draw. That's what we want. We want a good solid draw. So obviously we can win our next game. But
will we win our next game? That's the question.
Yeah, but this was a great game. Listen, the Premier League's looking tight. Bill, what's your thoughts on this game, mate?
I think Salah with 2. I think that's. I think Salah is just ridiculous. Like realistically, the fact he's a winger and scores so many goals, like it's a joke. I think last season as well, like Liverpool weren't that great last season, and yet somehow I think he got like over 30 goals and assists or goal contributions altogether, or maybe even 20. I can't remember, but it was in the high, maybe 20s or 30s goal contributions. And yeah, again, not really surprised. I thought Brentford were going to put up more of a fight. I think, especially beating Chelsea at home 2-0. I definitely thought Brentford would have something in them to at least give Liverpool a bit of a run for their money. But yeah, didn't work out that way, and Liverpool walk away 3-0, 3 points.
3-0, 3 points, and is obviously a comfortable win. Luca, your views on this game, mate?
Liverpool, I think not much to say about this game. I think it was a comfortable performance. I think it was too easy for Liverpool. Mo Salah doing what Salah does, and mate, I can't stand Liverpool at the moment. They keep winning and winning. I know that they lost in Europe, but it doesn't matter to them. They're going to qualify anyway as group winners. But I just feel look, this game, Brentford never showed anything. They're not playing very well at the moment, but knowing us, they'll probably turn up and beat us after the international break because we don't do well at 5:30 kickoffs this season. We haven't won a 5:30 game this season. So I think Liverpool are very serious. If Man City don't win and get their quadruple Premier League title, winning it 4 times in a row, no one's never done that before, I think Liverpool can win it. I do. But people talk about and say, Liverpool don't have just a little bit short. But Liverpool got a brand new midfield. Last season, their midfield was aging. They've got rid of Fabinho. They've got rid of Henderson. They've got rid of Ox. They've got rid of all the dead wood. They've got brand new midfielders now. And the only problem I have with Liverpool is I feel they haven't got enough squad depth, but they have players who can come off the bench. And
that was their problem last season, Luca. They were struggling on midfielders, weren't they? I mean, I can remember somebody saying it, and people saying it on streams. Liverpool fans just saying that they were really struggling for midfielders. I mean, one of them that sticks out in mind for me is McAllister from Brighton. 35 million, a World Cup winner. That's a bargain.
Yeah, it was. Like, I look at it now, I think it's fantastic for Liverpool. I really do, because for them lot to get McAllister for 35 million, and they were literally talking about 50, 60 million of, but they didn't, because they managed to somehow pull out the trigger and managed to end up getting cheap. And that is very good business. Slopperschlei was the midfielder what I wanted a few years ago. He's quality, man. He settles in midfield. He does what he has to do, and that. Salah is unbelievable at the moment. Darwin Núñez is having his best season for Liverpool. Liverpool for me, I feel. Do I think they'll win the league? Time will tell. If they beat Man City home and away, they can be champions. They can win the league. People talk about, Van Dijk's finished ever since he had that injury in Merseyside. Van Dijk looks like he's back to his best again. Liverpool for me have got some decent players, but I just feel Man City will have enough to win the league. I don't know. Do you think Liverpool will win the league or not?
I think they're contention on winning the league, yeah. I mean, where the top four is now, I asked Matt to put a poll in. I didn't know if he put it in, but I don't think he did. But I said, with the top four now, is that going to finish the top four? And if so, actually, I'll tell you what, for people in the chat and for the likes of Billy and Luca, the top four now, is that how it's going to finish, these teams in the top four? But in what order do you think? Or if not, maybe if you want to put, I don't know, a Newcastle. All right, we mentioned about Villa saying not getting top four. Maybe if you want to put a Villa in there. I mean, Manchester United, they're only 6 points, 2 wins behind Arsenal and Liverpool. This is what we're saying. It's shocking. It's surprising. So anybody in the chat, just I'll tell you what, you said no, Billy. I'm going to come to you. What is your top four? In what order you think that is going to finish in this season?
City first.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go Liverpool.
Yeah.
Then then I'm going to go Arsenal. Then I'm going to go Villa.
Villa to get top four. Wow. Surprise contenders. How come?
Yeah.
I think Tottenham are going to fall off a cliff. And if I look at other contentions, you've got Newcastle. They can't even beat Bournemouth. And I think they're going to struggle, especially in the later stages in the Champions League. I think it's going to have an effect on them. And I reckon they'll get out of the group. Then they got the round of 32 or the round of 16 or whatever, and stuff like that. So I think that they're going to struggle. And I don't think they're going to do it. And I don't think there's much competition apart from that, if I'm being honest.
No. What's yours, Luca?
For me, I think Man City will win the league.
Yeah.
Second, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Third, Liverpool. Fourth, Tottenham.
Right. Do you know what? I think I got to agree. I think I said Man City. I think it depends on what. Then again, it sees what games the last little 5 games going into the end of the season. Towards the end of the season, that we obviously we don't know what teams playing who. In the last 5 games of the season. So at this minute of time, just basing it on now, I would go Man City. Do you know what? I'll have to go Liverpool second. I'll go Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal third, and fourth.
Do you know, just quickly, Anthony, right? Do you know what's really interesting? The January transfer window can completely fucking flip. Like, say for instance, if Liverpool get an actual number 6 to sit in deep like a Fabinho, then I genuinely think they'll push City all the way.
Yeah.
Then you look at Arsenal. If they get a genuine box-to-box number 8, have Thomas Partey or Rice just behind, then have Odegaard in the attack. If you get someone like an Enzo, for instance, or a Gallagher, who is a box-to-box who will continuously run back and forth for you, I think you're all right strikers-wise. Obviously, both of them are out injured, which is unfortunate for you, not for me. I'm quite enjoying it. But if you lot, like, Jesus isn't an issue, and I don't think Nketiah is that much of an issue as a backup. So, yeah, if you get a number 8, you can potentially push Liverpool and get second place. It all depends how this January transfer window is going to go.
Yeah. Right. Jesus, yeah. Eddie Nketiah, no. He's not Arsenal material. I'm sorry. I know how much you like him, Bill. I cannot believe this, but I know how much you love the guy. No, Eddie Nketiah, not for me. No. You can have him. And you get Kai Havertz back as well.
You keep him. What's the swap deal? Havertz for Nketiah?
Well, I'm just going to go to a few comments here because there are some coming in. AFC always says, I had Newcastle to beat Bournemouth 2-1. Totally shocked by the result. Yeah, I think we all were. AFC always goes on to say Ramsdale did save us at times, last season, but also he cost us too. He conceded most goals from errors. He did, but in all fairness, AFC always you look at the amount of games that Ramsdale played to the amount of games that Raya played. Obviously that is in the consideration, but obviously now. I just don't feel. I don't think Raya is the right guy for the job.
AFC always. Look, I can understand where you're coming from and what me and Anthony have talked about. Look, Ramsdale has to be the number 1 if we want to go on and win the league, right? Whether even if you swap Ramsdale and he becomes the keeper, you still need to strengthen other positions. But Ramsdale has to be the number 1 goalkeeper. It's fair enough because we've said it as Arsenal fans, right? Raya for me. He's not good enough to be number 1 yet. I don't think he's not ready. When Raya first came in, we tried it out and thought, you know what? He kept a clean sheet against Everton. He kept a clean sheet against PSV. He kept a clean sheet against Man City. Fair enough. I thought when he kept a clean sheet against Man City, I thought, you know what? This is the turning point here. Yeah. But I feel like the games like Sevilla away, he almost cost us in that game. Newcastle, he cost us in that. Well, we can't really blame him because of the VAR, but saying that he did actually come out, Ramsdale has to be the number 1, okay? And I am worried we might sell him. Do I think he'll go in January? No. But don't be surprised if he is. But do you think he will go in January? Because if he goes in January, we're going to need another goalkeeper then.
No, because if that's the case, Luca, what was the point in selling Matty Turner?
Exactly.
There you go. So there's no point. So we won't be going in January because there's an extra player that we got to spend money on. And there's an extra player we got to spend money on. Plus, in the January transfer window, Arsenal doesn't really buy big in the transfer window.
And I'm not confident going into January. I'm really not optimistic because we say it every year, right?
Yeah.
When Arsenal want to go on and win the league, they always fall short in January.
Yeah, we do. We do. I just got to really get on with these comments, Luca, because somebody's obviously spamming the chat here. I'm saying no names. It says here, Ramsdale got too complacent and so have certain players because we don't have anyone to compete for their place. No, we don't. That's absolutely right. He then goes on and says Martinelli was Emirates signing too. Yes, he was. Alex Sanchez was the last world-class player we had at Arsenal. Not even Aubameyang and Alexis Sanchez was unplayable. That's true. I mean, Aubameyang, he was a January signing, the 65 million. He come to us in January. AFC always, he goes on to say, Man City first, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, and Villa fourth. That's exactly the same as Billy. He agrees with you. See, Bill, what I'm saying is, there are a few Arsenal fans that like you. AFC always, he goes on to say, Billy, you can have Eddie Nketiah for 65 million. And then Billy goes on to say, Billy talks bullshit, goes on to say, nah. AFC always goes on to say, Arteta wanted Rhea before we signed Ramsdale. Most probably did, yeah. Yeah. And then Billy goes on and says, 35 million on a deal. And then he goes on to say, plus a packet of quavers. Yeah, all right then, Bill. Well, yeah, I'll be happy with that. 35 million. And well, we'll give the quavers to our Win, the dog, and the doggy treat. You can give him the doggy treat as well. Let's go on to our next game now. West Ham 3, Forest 2. This game was on earlier today. What another game? A good game. I tell you what. I mean, I was watching. It was on Sky, but this is what I found weird. I was watching it on Sky Sports, and it had the Livingston versus Rangers game, and then it went. It came off of that, went straight onto this game, and then the P.L.W.S scored for Aston Villa straight away. We missed like 2 or 3 minutes of the game, and I thought to myself, you assholes, what did you do that for? I couldn't believe it. But we just switched over literally in time. It was literally about 10 seconds before West Ham scored their goal. So, you know, that I thought to myself, they're pathetic on that Sky Sports every now and then. But yeah, I mean, Lucas Paqueta scored. I mean, what was it? It was 1-1 going in at half time. Bowen scored. He's got the second. I mean, Bowen, he's got to be one of West Ham's bloody star players. He's the actual main goal scorer for them this season, isn't he? And also, he's doing well if you're doing the fantasy football, team. He's in my squad, so nothing said on that one, but he's doing really well. And Anthony Billy made it 2-2, and then that header. Oh, what's his name? He scored the winning goal for West Ham. I'm going to destroy it. Suchet? What was his name?
Thomas Suchet.
Suchet, yeah. And I tell you what, that was a thunderous header at the end. I mean, Matty Turner, I felt sorry for Matty Turner because there was times in that game, being our ex-goalkeeper, he did play well. And he has been playing well for Nottingham Forest. I mean, you look at it, last week, Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins, they couldn't even score past him. So the defence was well, the defence played well, and Matty Turner played a brilliant game last weekend. And long hair, yeah, if you're still in there watching this, give us your thought on that. I think Matty Turner is a good goalkeeper. We should have got this, Rhea. We should have left it how it was with Ramsdale and Matty Turner trying to fight it out personally. But yeah, really good game, interesting game. I love this game. I'm not going to see game of the season, but plus for today, another contender game for game of the weekend. I mean, we'll come on to this in a bit later on in the show. Bill, what's your thoughts on this game, mate? And also, did you feel that was the result right on the day, or did you feel sorry for Forest?
I never feel sorry for Forest. I think the fact they come into the Premier League and sign 20 players and are still up is an absolute joke. Never liked Forest, so I'm never going to admit or say that they're robbed or whatnot. Moving on to West Ham, fair play. I think I felt that West Ham would, especially after last season, we saw that Moyes chucked everything into the Conference League and did not focus on the Premier League. That was evident. They were struggling to get points across the Premier League, and they managed to win the conference. But this season seems to be a bit different. I feel like Moyes is actually playing well in the Europa and playing well in the Premier League and getting points where he needs to. So it's a weird one to be around at the minute. West Ham obviously beating Chelsea 3-1. I'm still not happy about it. I don't think I ever will be happy about it. But yeah, fair play. Again, going back to the January transfer window, if they signed as an actual number 9 to get the job done, it would be an absolute decimation from West Ham.
Yeah.
Better in the middle of the park. He is phenomenal. Then you're looking at Bowen out on the right. He's one of the best wingers in the league. And then just to have that number 9 to finish it all off, it would just be poetry in motion.
Yeah, true. I mean, it was a good win for West Ham. Don't get me wrong. I mean, coming back from a strong Forest team, winning from Villa last week, I feel sorry for them, but they are the mighty Hammers at the minute, and it's like what Bill said, that they did well they didn't do great in the league last season, but they did well in the Europa League. But now they're doing both well in it. Luca, your thoughts on this game, mate?
For me, I think it was a really good game. I think it was great and entertaining contest. I'm not surprised that Forest did concede in the last minute. I'm really not surprised. They're not playing very well at the moment, but they're still in a good position. They're about 14th in the league, so they're probably going to be fine for this season to stay up.
Yeah.
But I feel West Ham, for me, they're not okay. They're doing okay this season. Of course, they won the other night. They beat Olympiacos. Great result. I think they're top of the group in the Europa League, so they're probably going to qualify for the knockout stage. But I feel last season, what Billy said as well, I feel they pretty much put all the eggs in the basket for that Conference League, especially when Declan Rice was playing for them at the time. I feel they wanted to win that Conference League, because if West Ham didn't win that Conference League, I think David Moyes wouldn't have been here today. I feel like he probably would have been gone. But a lot of West Ham fans are calling out saying, "Oh, they want Moisey out." Like they're in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, right? They're going to qualify for the knockout stage of the Europa League. Why would you want to sack David Moyes? Okay, Moyes is a cup manager. Okay, he is a manager who is a cup manager.
Yeah.
And if I was a West Ham fan, why would you want to sack him now? You're in a decent position at the moment. Like, okay in the league. I don't know where they are in the league. Are they like top 10 in the league?
I think 13th.
13th, so it's not greatest position. The league-wise, they're not doing that great. But other competitions, they're doing all right. So I wouldn't sack David Moyes yet. If he doesn't...
I mean, they're ninth. West Ham are ninth in the league. And I'll be honest with you, they're on 17 points. They're a win, 3 points, 1 win behind Newcastle, because Newcastle's got 20.
They're only 10 points behind you, like Arsenal. And
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah. And obviously a point behind, obviously a point above Chelsea. I mean, there's nothing new there, but I mean, but nah, I mean, I'm just joking on that, Bill. We know your team's coming on leaps and bounds, and I think you're going to be a contender for. If you carry on, mate, I think Chelsea's going to be a top 6 team this season. I most probably really do. They can be. They got the players there to do it, but. Obviously, going back to this one, I don't understand why West Ham fans are calling out for Moyes to get out. I really don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is the second spell he's had in charge at West Ham. I mean, the first one wasn't that great, but this one, this spell, I feel this spell's even better. I mean, I mean, look at the players they've got. The money that they spent. They sold their star player to us for 105 million, Declan Rice. They bought in Paqueta and a few other players, but they've been playing really well. I mean, they've bought that. What's that Italian striker? Is it Scamacca?
Yeah, Scamacca.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, and do you know what? I mean, he hasn't really much. He's played a few games, but he hasn't really done really well. I can remember going back. I can't remember if it was last season or the beginning part of this season. I mean. No, it would have been last season, wouldn't it? Because he signed last season, didn't he?
Mm.
Yeah, I think Manchester United was after him at one time. I can remember reading it. Man United wanted him, but
the thing is, he did look good. Like he is a good striker. I think part and parcel with injury. I also think that I don't know. I mean, I've spoken to a West Ham fan, and he's Moyes out. He says that. He appreciates the Conference League win. He appreciates what he's done, what Moyes has done at the club. But he said that he wants a more attacking manager. He says that he watches West Ham sometimes, and it's so negative. He wants to see a more free-flowing, attacking sort of mindset at the club, which I don't necessarily disagree with. I think if they get someone like Steele from the French league, that young English manager, I think he's a very exciting manager who I think could easily get into a Premier League team and manage them.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Skamaka. I think Skamaka is or was a good striker.
I think he played for is it Sassuolo or whatever the team is in Serie A?
Sassuolo or whatever.
Yeah. But he's I think they have got a few good players there, but I'm really shocked with that with West Ham fans doing that in the minute. I feel that all out till the end of the season because things are up. They're going up for West Ham. Things are on the up, but they're gradually going up. It's not straight up; it's gradually going up, which is more.
What's West Ham's aim this season? To win another trophy again? Like if they win the League Cup and go far in Europa League, that's got to be a good season for West Ham. Because now they're winning back-to-back trophies. Because last season they won the Conference League as a European trophy.
Yeah.
But West Ham, if they win the Carabao Cup this season and have a good finish in Europe, say get quarterfinals or something, because they got to the semi-final not long ago, a couple of seasons ago. So that will be a good season for West Ham.
Yeah,
it depends. I think West Ham fans want more, and I think definitely Premier League table wise, I think they want to see a bit more. I think West Ham fans,
they want Europe, don't they? You reckon?
They want comfortable Europe.
Yeah,
they don't want to win it off the back of a Conference League title or trophy. They want to earn it over a 38 game period. And I, like you said, Moyes is a trophy manager or a cup manager. Sorry. It all sort of depends. I understand West Ham fans. I mean, I'm a Chelsea fan. We had 4 managers last season alone. I understand when you don't want your manager, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one.
No, we don't know. Let's move on. Right, so let's move on to our last game. I'm going to quickly talk this in brief because I'm going to be bringing this up and chatting about this on Gunners from All Corners on Thursday night. Arsenal 3, Burnley 1. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought all in all, it was a good result. I mean, I did predict Arsenal to win 3-0. I mean, obviously got that wrong. I mean, I'm going to come to you first on this one, Luca. I mean, the goals from us was from obviously Trossard. He got the first goal. Bang! Did you see it when he hit the post and he was injured? He was holding his arm, but fair play to him. He soon got up, shook it off, and carried on with the game. I mean, obviously Brown healed that deflection. I mean, obviously it was a deflection pass Brea, but ex-Bristol City player, I might add,
Oh, ex-Bristol City player, yeah?
Yeah, he was an ex-Bristol City player. And also, obviously, one of our star defenders, our centre-back, Saliba, scoring. And I'm going to be honest with you now. That last goal of Zinchenko, I mean, I haven't really spoke highly of Zinchenko. And the only reason being is because of this inverted system. I hate
it felt like Kung Fu Naki or anything like that.
It was the scissor kick.
Put it in, like scissor kicked it in, and like I'm having it.
Scissor kick, and it literally went into the top right-hand corner. And it's what you say when you warm up, when you used to play football, and if you score a goal like that in a game or in training, warming up or whatever, what's the first thing you say if you score a goal like that? Picky eight. Yeah, you always say that to the goalkeeper. Picky eight. Right. That is my that's what I'm going to give on this game. I wasn't happy towards the end of the game. Luca, you doopy sod.
Yeah, for me.
Did you get sent off?
Yeah, of course I got sent off. I literally got sent off, and I thought, you know what, we won the game, and but you know what, I'll just do a 2-foot challenge.
Yeah, fucking hell. Right pair of Fabios. But all in total, Luca, what's your thoughts on this game? Was it an easy win, you feel? Like a comfortable, easy win?
In a way, you can say, yes, it was a bit of a comfortable win. But I thought the first half, Burnley showed some very good fight. They had a few shots on target. Like, I was looking at the game and I watched the game back, and Burnley had about 4 shots on target compared to Arsenal, and they only took the 1.
Yeah.
And I don't think the first half wasn't the greatest performance, but I think the second half was a lot better. Full of control. We got the first goal. Trossard, 1-0. I thought, when my notification came on, I was thinking 1-0 Arsenal. I thought, we're going to win this game. And then Burnley showed a little bit of good fight. And I feel like what we touched on earlier, David Raya should have done better in that position. He should have done better in that position, because what I don't like about David Raya, the way Burnley, okay, it might just not only be his fault, it might just be the players in front of him, but you can see the position. I reckon any other keeper like that who took the shot like that, I reckon someone's saving Brownhill's goal. And I feel Raya could have done better. People might disagree with me on that, but we responded after that. Saliba 2-1, and then we were just control of the game. But overall, I think it was a good performance, but not fantastic, not brilliantly. But we got the job done, and we needed to win this game, because with Tottenham losing, now we know today Manchester City, Chelsea just bulleted themselves and got a 4-4 draw out of it. Both teams dropped points. Liverpool, of course, were always going to beat Brentford, and this is why you've got to beat these sort of teams if you want to win the league. And what I liked about yesterday's game, I don't know if anyone really touched on it yesterday on their match reactions, but we seem to be actually getting the job done. Players are actually stepping in and actually getting the job done. People talk about, yes, we've got Partey out for the rest of the year, well, technically end of January, because he's going to the AFCON potentially. Jesus is injured. You've obviously got Odegaard out, Smith Rowe out, Timber out. People like Tomiyasu, Jorginho's and that are starting to step in the last 2 games. And that's something where I thought Wednesday night against Seville, I was at the game. I actually thought individual players were actually doing very well, and that was a fantastic performance. And Seville hardly kicked the ball in that game. But yesterday, you saw people like Zinchenko had a good game. You saw Jorginho had another good game. And when players do come back, there's going to be a bit of a competition. And even AFC always made a very good point. Zinchenko needs to be playing on the left-hand side of the number. Yeah, he does. He has to play, because Zinchenko defensively is shocking. Okay, even that Liverpool game last season at Anfield, we were 3 minutes away of ending that Anfield drought.
Yeah.
But Zinchenko, for me, I think Arteta needs to play him in that number 8 version. I think it really suits him. I really think he does very well. I think he does well. And when he was at Man City, he even played in midfield.
Sort of in that DM role alongside where Declan Rice, Shevchenko, and maybe if you had a Thomas Partey there, that 3 along there.
If you have that 3, right, with Martin Odegaard, that really causes a lot of teams. That gives you a lot of competition. Even if Odegaard's out, if Partey was playing, if Rice, Partey, and Zinchenko were playing in that 8, that could cause teams problems. I'm not saying it will work every week, but it could actually really cause teams, and that could be something different. And that's what I like about Arsenal in the last 2 games. Yes, we're not performing in the last few weeks very well. We lost to Newcastle. We surprisingly lost to West Ham, right? But the last 2 games I've seen, and players are starting to perform, and I want to see that consistency, because normally you talk about even last season or even seasons in the past where players who are now injured, we don't really miss Thomas Partey. Yes, he is a very important player, and on his day when he is fit, he's a world-class player. But talking about Partey, I'd get rid of him in January. I'd get rid of him. I'd say, thank you very much for the 3 or 4 years at the football club, right? It's time to go. Injuries are not working, and we seem to be doing well, because Declan Rice and Saliba are the 2 important players that is keeping us in this position in this little title race. Okay, Rice, if one injury away to Saliba and Declan Rice, goodbye title race, right?
Yeah.
like last season when we had Rob Holding in defence. And
Yeah.
we've got Brentford coming up. That is going to be a difficult game. They want to respond, of course. We beat them in the League Cup this season, 1-0. Am I confident going to that game? I think the international break has come at the right time for Arsenal because we might have a few key players. I heard yesterday that Smith Rowe could be back after the international break. So that would give us another midfield option with me out suspended for 3 matches. And then, huh?
I said, thank God for that.
Yeah, thank God for that. So therefore, I have a better Balkan in him. So Martin Odegaard might be back after the international break as well.
Yeah. He'd be out. He'd be at the gym flexing his muscles.
They're not fake. Don't worry, man. but no, look. I think international break has come at the right time. I'm hearing today.
Oh, we've lost him.
Oh no!
Oh no!
There we go. No, he's muted.
You're muted, Luca. But I tell you what, when Luca comes back, Billy, we'll have a quick view of your opinion on this game.
Yeah, to be quite frank and quite honest, another one of these results that is this game that we would have predicted. Like, no, I don't think anyone would have put Burnley to win against Arsenal unless you're a Burnley fan, and even then you would have admitted that you'd lose to Arsenal.
Yeah.
I just think that I don't know why you let Tierney go out on loan and keep Zinchenko left back. AFC always has said, and Luca, Zinchenko in that number 8 role and then put Tierney at left back, I think you've got a great back, like defensive midfield sort of position.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that's our manager for you, Mikel Arteta. He is stubborn. He likes it his way. He's got a plan A. He's never got a plan B. He's absolutely useless in that respect of it. Well, I think he's a useless manager anyway. He's not my sort. But listen, I think is whatever. I'm just gonna, Bill. What I'm gonna do is quickly go to the comments because this show has gone on for an hour and 37 minutes. Right, FC always says, questions to Anthony and Luca. If Arsenal finish second in the league and they win an FA Cup, would you say it's been a successful season? Do you know what? Compare it off last season, finishing second and winning nothing, I would say yeah, because at the end of the day, a team like Arsenal, like whether it's Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, it's all about trying to win a trophy. At the end of the day, it's silverware at the end of the day, and that's my opinion of it. And I think yeah, it will be a successful season, but I think with Mikel Arteta, I think he's got to try and win the league. He's got to try and win the league before he wins the Champions League. But it depends what time he's on. If he's on borrowed time, if he wins nothing this season compared to last season, the money he spent, he's been backed by the Kroenkes. So I'm sorry, he got to be looking over his shoulder basically for with his job. Geordie's in. He's saying howdy the lads, and then Geordie goes on to say he won them a Conference League trophy. He's doing great. Exactly. He's on about David Moyes. Hang on, Luca's in the background. I'll let Luca in.
Sorry, man. My laptop died, and then
that's all right. Yeah, I just got your message on my phone as well. Your laptop died. AFC always goes on and says Declan Rice is babysitting Jorginho and 29 in midfield. Rice is covering so much at times. He is. I tell you what, I've never known a player to work so hard. And literally, when that whistle was blown, that final whistle, you should see the sweat off that guy. That guy literally, honestly, he is. He's the key to that link of that spine of that midfield, defensive wise. Honestly, he is. And I'm telling you something now. That guy has got the potential to be the next Arsenal captain. Because to be honest with you, Odegaard for me, he's not captain material, and I will say that. AFC always goes on and says Arsenal's first half performance was dropped. Yes, it was, mate. It was. Zinchenko needs to be playing that role 8. role more often. Yeah, he does need to be playing on that role more often. And it's like what I said, Luca is actually, he touched on that as well. So, he's done well. Last comment now, he says Zinchenko needs to be playing the left side of 8 role more often. He is much better player in that than him as the inverted left back, defensively not good. No, he's not. And do you know what? This here, for me, this here to me is got to be, well, I think it got to be comment of the night, honestly, because I know it's to do with Arsenal. We're Arsenal fans, me and Luca, and we're being a bit biased, but this is the comment of the night, I reckon. And
sorry, Andy, if you do me a favour quickly and scroll all the way back up to the top, and you see Longhaired Yeti's second comment, can you just click on that for a sec?
But where he says totally agree, Billy.
Yeah, that's the comment of the night for me.
Totally agree, Billy. Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, no, you was right. You was right in what you were saying when you were saying with your team. And big up to Long-Haired Yeti. If anybody hasn't subscribed to the Long-Haired Yeti's channel, make sure you do. He does good content. Obviously, a Forest fan. He does all sorts on his stream. He does the football. He does the watch-alongs. He talks about he's got gaming videos as well. He does quite a wide range of content, and do you know what? A lovely guy as well. Seriously, if anybody's not subscribed to his channel, please subscribe to his channel. Okay, and now we've come off of this now, and we're going to go on to right. Before we do that, Billy, the floor is all yours, mate. It's all yours for last week for the prediction.
My time.
Premier League, it's your time.
So, facing it off, we did. So, me and Anthony, Luca, I don't know if you see it sometimes, we do a predictions where we do the predictions a week before the games, and then the next week we see how we get on. Last week, we got 2 points, and 1 point is for guessing the correct win or outcome. So, if Chelsea and City play, Anthony guesses Chelsea 4, Man City 1, then Anthony would get 1 point. But if the game actually does finish 4-1 to Chelsea, Anthony gets 3 points. So there's
you get
a lot of points.
Yeah, 3 points for the correct score and a point for the win.
Yeah,
you win.
So moving on, we got Wolves beat Spurs. We know how that finished. Me and Anthony both predicted a Spurs win. So we'll leave that one there. That doesn't matter anyway. Arsenal Burnley, we predicted an Arsenal win. No correct scorelines. Palace Everton, Anthony actually went for a draw and I went for a Palace win. We both got that wrong. United Luton, I went for a United win, so I get a point. Anthony went for a draw, so he doesn't get any points there. Moving down, we got Villa beat Fulham 3-1, and I guess 3-1, so we get 3 points there together. Brighton and Sheffield, we both predicted a Brighton win. It was a draw. Liverpool Brentford, we predicted Liverpool win. And yeah, so we compared it all up and we drew on 8 points each in total.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad. We'll do the same obviously on not next week's show, but the week after.
Yeah.
And I'm coming guns blazing, Bill. I'm gonna kick your ass because we're drawing too much. We're drawing too much. I think if you add that up, it's 10-10.
Yeah.
Drawing. We need to get like a chart up with the points and tally the points up. We'll try and look into that and try and do that. Right, now we've come on to the last bit of the show, but thanks for doing that anyway, Bill.
Always a pleasure.
Cheers, mate. Right. We are now going to go on to team of the weekend. Now, I'll go first on it. My team of the weekend, I got to say it was Bournemouth because that was an unexpected score against Newcastle. I thought they dominated that game, keeping a clean sheet as well. And, it was it's like what I said, Newcastle didn't turn up. So my team of the weekend is Bournemouth. Luca, what's your team of the weekend?
My team of the weekend probably has to be Chelsea Man City. That's got to be the best game of the season. so far. I think that's.
Yeah, you can pick one as a team.
I was at a team.
Team of the week. Yeah, what's your football team of the week?
Everyone, Luca's new. All right, so let's just.
Good luck, Luca.
Probably Chelsea because Chelsea surprisingly came back and got a 4-4 draw against Manchester City. Even he's got it on his whiteboard. So no, I think Chelsea for me were a surprise package over the weekend. And
and obviously
Man City getting to 4-4 as well. That was, I think, Chelsea for me. That was a surprise candidate because when Man City were 3-2 up, I thought the game was done. I really did. Even 4-3, I thought. But Chelsea showed some fight today. I think they were the surprise, and that's my team of the weekend.
Chelsea, right? Billy, what's your team of the weekend?
I can't believe I'm going to disagree with an Arsenal fan that Chelsea got team of the weekend. I've actually gone with Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think the injury to their, Neto, I think he is, a lot of concern for them. On top of that, Spurs, obviously unfortunate with injuries, but they still had Son. They still had players that could affect the game. And Wolves just did enough, especially losing 1-0 to Spurs, coming up to, the 78th minute or maybe 60th minute when they started scoring. So to have that fight throughout the game and to end up winning it as well, credit to them.
Yeah, and also everybody in the chat, if you want to join in as well, put your comments in the comment section, and I'll read them out towards the end of the show. Going on to the next one, right? Worst team of the weekend. Like, I'm just going to say, I've just said it. My worst team was Newcastle. Absolutely rubbish. They didn't turn up. So, in all fairness, Bournemouth is my team of the weekend, and my worst team was Newcastle. And I tell you what, Eddie Howe, you got to be upset losing to your old team that you manage. That's all I'm going to say on that. Luca, go on. You're smiling. Go on.
For me, I've got to say the same as you. I think Newcastle, because I think Newcastle for me has to be the worst team of the weekend. I never expected that we were going to lose to Bournemouth. I thought Newcastle would have easily bounced back. I thought it was an opportunity to get them back up to the table, climb up and try and get closer to that top four again. But I think they were poor yesterday. I think performances-wise, I say it again, like they've gone and beaten us over a VAR situation. And then Dortmund, they lost. And then they lost yesterday. And I think Eddie Howe got it all wrong yesterday.
Yeah.
Really got it all wrong. I thought tactical, he wasn't good enough. I thought the substitutions, he left them on too late. I think Newcastle has to be the worst team of the weekend. Surprise defeat against Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I totally agree. Billy, what's your worst team of the weekend and why?
I've got 3 nominations in my head.
Oh, you can't pick one, mate.
The one I've written down is Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
To be 1-0 up against an average Wolves side, actually a poor Wolves side, if anything, and to come away 2-1 down, I think is quite poor. You've also got the likes of Newcastle, which you two have already explored, and then also Palace. I think Everton is such a stinky club. The way they've done business is horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, they've spent so much money, and to have such a mediocre / awful side is absolutely ridiculous. But no, my final nomination would be Newcastle as well. That is what I'm going to be stuck on.
Okay. All right. This one's an hard one. Player of the weekend.
Player of the weekend.
Yes, the best player of the weekend, the player that stood out for you. I'll go. Actually, Luca, did you want to go? No, Billy, you go first on this one.
I need to think.
Yeah, you go.
I've got an actual ex-Chelsea player. Can anyone guess who?
An ex-Chelsea player.
Yeah.
Did he play today?
No, it was yesterday.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Salah.
No. Good guess.
Are they a good team?
Who what?
Are they a good team?
No.
They're not.
Oh.
They're not. Right, okay.
Chelsea player.
Did they win?
Yeah,
Dominic Solanke.
yeah.
Hey, Dominic Solanke.
And
Yeah.
I got him. He scored 2 against Newcastle. I was going to go with Salah, but I mean, I think scoring 2 against Newcastle is a lot harder than scoring 2 against Brentford. I mean, Chelsea couldn't score 1 against Brentford, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, Solanke managing to score 2 against the best defence in the league last season, statistically speaking. Yeah, he's my nomination for Player of the Weekend.
Okay, I'll go. My player, you've actually said it. My player is Salah. I know it's 2 goals. I know it's against Brentford, but I feel that without Salah, I don't think Liverpool will be where they are in the league right now. So personally, he's got my player of the weekend. What's yours, Luca?
I'm having a look at all the teams right now. I've got to say, my surprise, and you guys might actually disagree with me on this one.
Well, we would if it's an MK Dons player. We definitely will.
No, it won't be MK Dons because they can't score for shit. I've got to say, that Sarabia for Wolves.
Oh, Pablo Sarabia.
He played for PSG, I think. So I think he was got to be the surprise of the weekend. Because to come off the bench and score in the 91st minute to get that winning goal is a good feeling for you as a footballer in the Premier League, because I think he's got to be the surprise player of the weekend.
All right. No, fair play on that one. Yeah, fair play. I didn't give that one. Right, and worst player of the weekend. My worst player of the weekend, I'm going to have to give it to an Arsenal player, is Fabio Vieira.
Me.
I'm not being funny. Yeah, Luca, you was, to be honest with you, you was a prick in that game.
It's good.
Honest with you was a prick. But yeah, why mistimed challenge? Why put the tackle in? You made yourself look even more stupid in doing that. It just didn't make sense to me.
Well, Fabio Vieira looks, you know what I'm saying? That's why I've covered myself up. But no.
Well, you got the hair.
I think I was absolutely pathetic for me to actually get sent off like that. I thought, you know what, the game is done. I thought, you know what, let's just do a come through Naki kick. We won the game. I thought, you know what, I just won't play the next few games.
So you're voting yourself as the worst player of the weekend. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Right, Billy, who's your worst player of the weekend and why?
I've gone with Robinson for the own goal. Fulham.
Yeah.
I think that, from what I saw, it's weird with Robinson because he's someone who I've actually, I wouldn't say enjoyed as a Fulham player, but he's someone who I think is mediocre, which is a good thing for Fulham. But yeah, I feel this weekend especially, he was one of the reasons why he let his side down. Yeah,
no, true. Yeah, I've just got one comment in, and I think it's from AFC Always. I think Billy's going to like this one. He goes on to say Chelsea versus Man City. He said game of the season. Palmer's penalty was on fire.
Right, it was so that every time Palmer steps up for a penalty, I'm nervous, and yet every time he scores.
Yeah,
I think because he's such a young player, like I'm so used to an experienced player taking a penalty.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Oh, that's saying. Got the main. Yeah, all right then. Yeah, we're bouncing now anyway, mate. We're gonna be wrapping up now. So that's it. So that's it now, everybody. We come to the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for everybody that listened. And obviously I want to say thanks for Billy coming on. Well, Billy's always on. He's on every week. You can't miss him. He's a Chelsea fan with a variety of football kits. We'll have to maybe do a show on that, Bill. You can do a show on your football kit.
Do you have a channel, Billy? Do you have a channel?
No.
I
have a TikTok, but I don't really post on it. If I'm honest, I do all this podcasting stuff instead.
Yeah, right. And thank you for Luca for coming on. Luca, see me you're here now. Did you want to shout out your channel?
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. If you're new to the channel, we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. I do need to start getting back onto live shows. I haven't done a stream since the West Ham game,
Lacking, Luca. Lacking.
I'm really lacking at the moment. So I've been doing the odd vlogs and videos and that. But we will be back after the international break. I will promise everyone.
And getting kicked out of football stadiums, yeah, I know it's terrible. I couldn't be like it myself, but
yeah, I did my vlog yesterday. So the thing is, of course, please subscribe to my channel, Luke AFC. We're 84 away from 5,000.
Yeah,
84 away from 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Man. Thank you very much for having me on. We'll be back after the international break with live shows, and we'll be back with Arsenal content.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I you know me, Luke. I always tune into your shows and that, and I put the odd comment here and there, sort of thing. So yeah, so make sure everybody, if you haven't subscribed to Luca's channel, make sure you do. He does do good content. He does talk about himself quite a lot. I mean, obviously being Fabio Vieira, and yeah, so that's absolutely great. Billy, do you just want to give yourself a quick shout out and just see where people can find you to,
Yeah, well, you can see me on Sunday every time here, whatever time that may be, whether it's 6:30 or 7:30 or 7. We seem to vary it at the minute, but we will get it down to a consistent basis. And yeah, you can also find me on Friday nights on the United Agenda, talking even more bullshit.
Oh, definitely. Billy talks ball. Right. And thank you. And also, yeah, with me, you can find me on my social medias on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at my name at Anthony Herbert. You can also find by Luca, by the way. And also you can find me on obviously this channel, Football United TV, where I do the Premier League weekend show and obviously Gunners from All Corners. Not forgetting every Friday as well, I'm on the Man United Agenda with the likes of Mr. B and obviously this guy here. Yeah. My stalker. Right. Okay. So yeah. Listen, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Same again, thanks for all your messages, your comments. It's been a blast. Sorry the show went on for long, but listen, there's no show next week because it's international, so we thought we'd do a longer show for you today.
We'll make up. We've got 2 episodes in one now. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know. So big up. Thanks for everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and what you're doing. We are out of here.